Hey guys, it is Johann. Hope you are well. Now guys, I had a very interesting week with a lot of challenges. So today I thought, let's do our episode on how to handle challenges. And more importantly, guys, I'd like to say thank you very much to the 41 people who have live on Clubhouse right now. We are going to be uploading this on a Spotify. The feedback has been absolutely amazing. And thank you very much for the continued growth on YouTube as well. So if you can continue to like, subscribe, and share this content with some family and friends, I'll be truly appreciative. So guys, what happened was this. Monday morning, I woke up and I got ready for work. I'm just walking out the door. And basically, I had a text message from my lawyer. So my best friend and I, we are trying to sell some land that we bought in a particular part of Melbourne. And the finance fell through. So my conveyancer calls us and says, hey, Johann, I've got some bad news. The finance fell through on this particular project, so you got to find a new buyer. And at that moment, I started to realize that I wasn't panicking. But then I felt like a bit of anxiety creeping up because I'm working on two other projects at the moment. And in order for them to manifest, I really had to get this one under control. So I still didn't freak out, which was absolutely amazing. It got me thinking, I think there are two types of people in life. There is one group where when there's a challenge, a setback, a failure, they panic, they absolutely give up, they become dramatic and very emotional. And then there's another side, and I believe I've just crossed that side, where you become strong, diligent. It's okay to be a bit angry, but more importantly, become more solutions orientated. And why I'm sharing this with you today, guys, because it doesn't matter who you are and what you are, you're always going to face some sort of challenge within your life. And you don't want to be known as a person who panics. And unfortunately, I used to be known as a panicker. But now my friends call me Mr. Freeze because I don't feel any, pressure at all. And it's not that I don't do anything or I get startled or anything like that. I just kind of know how to focus my eyesight and my absolutely focus on finding a solution rather than focusing on the problem. So anyway, when that problem occurred, the first thing I did was hook up a Teams meeting with my banking manager, and I said, hey, we're going to have an urgent meeting. This deal has fallen through and you don't want to buy another property shortly. So we have a Teams meeting, and basically my bank manager said, hey, Johann, the likelihood of you being able to buy another property is going to be quite limited because of this current situation. And at that stage, I was getting quite angry and a bit frustrated, just to be transparent. And I said, look, I'll come back to with you with a solution, but let's get this done. I know there's a way. There's always a way. And I'm not the type of person to give up. And if you know me, you could put me in a very hard situation and I won't give up. I might get a bit angry, but I'll never give up. And I don't know what it is, guys. It's like when I'm convinced and convicted on a certain goal, I'm going to do whatever it freaking takes to get in there. So anyway, I prepared a couple of things like a cash flow statement for my new venture. I looked at some other alternatives and basically I found a solution. And I rang up my bank manager and I said, hey, let's have another Teams meeting. I found a solution. And basically the news that I got was you could do this project, but not to the capacity you wanted. So basically I wanted to buy a particular property valued at XYZ. And I've only been lent on XY. So basically I have to find a whole new property to buy. And that really got me frustrated because I said, not only can I sell the land, I've got to find a new buyer. I wanted to buy the house, but I can't now, or the new investment property, I should say. And now the banking guy has said, you can buy a property, but not at this value. And again, that was like 4 or 5 challenges in a 3-day period. So I started to become quite fatigued. And even till, yesterday, which was a Friday, I was still very tired, very grumpy, very moody. And I was in quite of a negative mood. And I said, Johann, you have to get yourself out of this mindset and try and find an alternative way. So I actually come up with a solution. And even though the solution is not the exact goal I want to achieve at that point or the outcome, it made me think that I can still achieve some sort of goal. And I've got a feeling, guys, that once I get through this little challenge, the other side is going to present me with plenty of opportunities because I've got a thought and reason, and hopefully this resonates with you as well. So I don't know, guys, I get a lot of calls throughout the week, and things are quite tough for a lot of people in business. Yeah, people are under pressure with jobs and cost of living and all that kind of stuff. And I always find that people will give up at a certain point, and I strongly believe that certain point is at the point where if they just kept going a little bit harder and not giving up, and if they surrounded themselves with a lot of great people, they're a lot more closer towards achieving that goal. And maybe that's you. Maybe you've got a little bit of a challenge within your workplace, within your business, and maybe you feel like giving up or getting really frustrated. But I believe if you're feeling any resentment or any challenge, I reckon you're a lot closer to achieving that goal. And what happens is 95% of people, when they get at that certain point of resistance, they give up. But I'm looking at you right now in this camera, and I believe if you are watching this, you're a lot closer to your goal than what you think you are. So this is what I want you to do if you're facing a challenge, and this is part of today's training session. If you're going through a challenge right now, whether it's business or personal, the first thing you need to do, guys, is write what the problem is. So if you're in business and you're saying, hey, my revenue is a lot less than what it is, don't just write on a piece of paper that my revenue is low, but work out what exactly you want to achieve in revenue. Maybe you're in sales and you're not hitting the targets like you used to. So maybe write out what the exact target you want to be, achieving. Maybe it's a relationship problem, and maybe write on the piece of paper how you want that relationship to look like. That is the first step. And what we call that is profiling, right? The next step and the next thing you want to do is try and find a solution. Don't look at the problem. Focus on the solution. So how do I really look at solving solutions? Number one is I try and reach out to people who have achieved the goal that I'm trying to chase. That's number one. Number two, start reading good information online, whether that might be Google or YouTube, whatever the case may be. And thirdly, I highly recommend you turn off any social media when you're trying to achieve a common or very challenging goal. Have your social media to draw up marketing and attention, but don't use that social media at that point of time to just consume. Use it to your benefit at that point. And I believe if you look at those 3 steps, you will find a solution to the problem that you're trying to achieve. Because guys, I had a very chaotic week and I did find a solution. It wasn't easy, and I didn't have any thoughts of giving up. I had more, thoughts of frustration. And it took me about 4 or 5 days to overcome, but I didn't give up. And sometimes you might just have to modify your goal for that time being, because everything is temporary. My wife always says it. She's like, babe, if you're going through a challenging time, just remember it's temporary. So guys, if you are going through a challenging time at the moment, get some help. And more importantly, believe in yourself and understand you will find a solution. And guys, that's all we're doing for today's training session. Really hope you actually like the backdrop behind me as well. And in the next few weeks, we've got some interesting things happening on this podcast as well. So guys, do me a favor, keep sharing this content. Stay strong, stay healthy. And if you are going through a challenging period, do me another favor, guys. Stop the drugs, stop the alcohol, and start keeping physically fit, because I believe there's a connection between training and achieving goals as well. So guys, that's all we are doing for today's training session. I really hope you got some value out of this, guys. And see you next week. But have a great week and speak soon, my friends. Take care.